call this meeting to order, and the pledge will be given by the Honorable Kathleen McIntyre. Would you all rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman McIntyre. We'd like to welcome you to the 1,875th regular meeting of the Livonia City Council. This is a voting meeting, and minutes of this meeting will be approved at our next regular meeting, which will be scheduled on Monday, July the 8th of this year. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Present.
Councilmember Meekin.
Here.
Vice President Jolly.
Present.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Present.
Councilmember Barr.
Here.
Councilmember White. Here. President Toy.
Here. We have a very full council tonight, and so that constitutes a quorum as well, and we're good to go. Okay, presentation of the minutes, 1,874th regular meeting of the City Council, which was held on Monday, June the 3rd of 19. Is there a motion for that? Councilwoman
I'd like
McIntyre.
to offer the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Supported by Vice President Jolly. Would the clerk take the roll on the regular minutes?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Council, tonight we have some tributes and some recognitions and, of course, our announcements. We do have a special tribute, and I know Commissioner Marecki has sent grace as well to offer a resolution. So I wanted to announce that, and with that, I'm going to ask Councilman Meekin to present our resolution from the council and the mayor.
Thank you, Madam President. We have a tribute here for Turowski Funeral Home, which has been recognized for providing the Detroit area with 100 years of service. The Turowski Funeral Home was founded in 1919 in Detroit by Joseph Turowski and has since carried on the family tradition through 4 generations by opening several more locations in the Metro Detroit area. The Turowski Funeral Home has continuously given professional service to the Livonia community as well as the surrounding cities. The Turowski Funeral Home has cared for friends and families of loved ones with courtesy and compassionate service during their times of grief, providing life stories of loved ones to families that wish to cherish their memories. The Turowski Funeral Home has delivered a warm and caring family business to the surrounding community for a century. Now, therefore, I, Dennis K. Wright, Mayor of the City of Livonia, County of Wayne, State of Michigan, do hereby take this opportunity to join the Livonia City Council to congratulate and commend Turowski Funeral Home on its dedication and congratulate the individuals whose hard work has made this possible for the long-standing family business. Herein signed by Dennis K. Wright, Mayor, and members of the Livonia City Council. Mr. Turowski, would you like to come up, please?
Before you sit down, go right ahead. I was going to ask you if you'd like to say something.
All right. Well, first of all, on behalf of my family, I'd like to thank everyone. My name is Todd Turowski. This is Leonard. My mom, Vicki Turowski's back there. Like I said, I'd like to thank you all, and we really appreciate the recognition. I know my great-grandfather would be very proud to be here if he could see us today. And we really enjoy being in Livonia. Been in Livonia for a very long time. And once again, thank you very much.
Thank you for your good service to all our residents. We appreciate it, the caring and compassion you show. Thank you very much. Yes. Anyone else like to comment? Okay. All right. And hearing and seeing no one, then we'll move on to our police chief, Chief Kate. Chief Kate.
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. It's really my honor to be here today to acknowledge a couple of people that have made some significant sacrifices for our K-9 team. And this stems from the unfortunate death a couple years ago of Officer Colin Rose at Wayne State University Police Department. In his memory, Chris Powell, and I'd ask Chris and Linda Niehazel to step up at this point, began a foundation in memory of Officer Rose as a canine officer. And Colin was very active in the canine program at Wayne State University, also very active with Unity Tour and very supportive of families that have lost officers during his lifetime. And now we find ourselves honoring him and his sacrifice going forward. So the Colin Rose Foundation has a number of causes that they're involved in, and one of which is awarding ballistic vests to canines. And Linda Niehazel, wife of our fallen officer Larry Niehazel, became involved with that program, and through her contributions made it possible for this donation of the vest to our canine Colt that they will be awarding to him today. Linda's also been very active carrying Larry's legacy forward with the Schoolcraft College and the foundation that is there, and the grant system for the Wayne County Regional Police Academy. So two great supporters certainly for law enforcement, but based on tragedy. So with that, I turn the podium over to Chris and Linda.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I just, since meeting Chris on my first police unity tour ride in 2014, and then following the unfortunate events that occurred with Colin, his best friend, I've been watching what he's been doing with the foundation and wanting to buy a dog a vest. And in communication with Chris, I found out that Colt's Officer Petrol had requested a vest for Colt. So I said, well, the Niehazel family would like to purchase that. So that's kind of how it came about and why we're here. And we like the aspect of honoring both Larry and Colin and continuing their legacy. So.
That's great. Would he like to say something? Would you like to say something, sir?
So, again, our foundation grew out of Colin's death. He was murdered on a street investigation in Detroit nearly 3 years ago. And Colin cared about canines and cared about survivors. We did the police unity tour together every year. We went to police funerals together. I think the coldest funeral I've ever been to was Larry's. I remember being cold that day. But we had gotten to know the Niehazel family on the police unity tour ride. I remember seeing Linda in the events that followed Colin's death, and it was nice. There was a little bit of comfort there in knowing, what they had been through and going through it from our perspective. So with what we've been able to do, we had dedicated, to outfitting one dog a year. And when Colin lived in St. Clair Shores, and when Axe was murdered in November, we did a big fundraising campaign and have been able to provide first aid bags and ballistic vests to nearly 50 dogs. And we had budgeted to do Colt when Linda connected, so we were able to provide a vest for Colt with her donation, and that allotment went to Kalamazoo County, where Colin had grew up. So there's 2 dogs protected now with that. So it's been wonderful to do it. And from that campaign, we had the attention came to being able to provide emergency first aid, and we were able to host an event here in March where canine handlers came, and he was in attendance there and learned some of the skills on how to render aid if your partner were ever injured. So it's really grown, and we're very pleased to be here and to give this gift of protection to him. So thank you again for the venue, and we're glad to be a small part of carrying on the legacies of Larry and Colin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Officer, did you want to come up and feature Colt and Chief or whoever to show the vest?
Would it be all right for a quick photo with council with all of
Please,
us?
yes.
If you ask really nicely.
Yeah.
We're kind of reluctant to do these kinds of photos.
you.
It sounds impressive.
There you go, that's the one. That's it.
I've got a video with the dog.
Madam President, while you're returning to the podium, may I just make a brief comment? I promise I'll be brief.
Yes, be brief. Go ahead.
It's astounding to me that the first response when an officer is lost, and as we know in Livonia, and those of us don't know the pain nearly as well as the Niehazel family, but whether it's Officer Niehazel, Officer Rose, or many others, it's astounding that the first instinct of the family and the friends seems to be to figure out how to do for others. And when it would be very easy to turn to anger and bitterness, there just always seems to be this natural and really amazing tendency that figure out how to make good out of it. And we see that, we've certainly seen that with the Niehazel Memorial and everything that's coming. Now we see it with the Colin Rose Foundation, but it's a pretty amazing, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for those good comments. Ditto. All right. Was there anyone else wishing to address the council on any manner that is not on our green sheets, which is our agenda for this evening? Yes. Go right ahead, Councilwoman McIntyre.
Does Judy have, okay.
Judy?
No. Okay, well, I didn't know if she, oh, sorry. Anyway, just two quick public comments. The first is, the Greenmead 30th Annual Garden Walk is coming up this Saturday. It's going to be a great event, 5 private gardens and the garden at the Simons Hill House. Tickets are available at Greenmead, the Bennett Library, City Hall, the 5th floor. They're $9 in advance, $10 on the day of the event. And one other thing, next week marks Spree Week, also known as the best week in Livonia. And wristbands can be purchased and all the great information. We're getting things in the papers. There are handouts up all over City Hall. But the website is www.livoniaspree.com. And so we're all excited and looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, don't forget the wristbands. That helps.
Madam
Helps
President.
families. Yes, Council Vice President, and then we'll get right to you, Councilman Barr.
Thank you, Madam President. I have to wish, and I want to wish, a happy birthday to my son JD, who's turning 4 years old on the day of the Spree fireworks.
All right.
As if his red hair was not a warning enough, all the loud bangs and flashes will bring everyone's attention that he's around. So, happy birthday. We love you, buddy.
Great. Happy birthday. Go right ahead, Councilman Barr.
I have a thanks and an announcement. The thanks is, first of all, primarily to Linda Scheel for coordinating on behalf of all of us elected officials a great ice cream social last Thursday. The elected officials put that on, but Linda, I think, bears the burden of coordinating that, so we appreciate that. But it's a great opportunity for us to interact with the residents of the rec center prior to the annual Livonia Symphony Orchestra Pops concert to kick off our summer music series, and they were fabulous as always. I actually was sitting there, having heard them many times before, but for some reason this time it just struck me how well that Mac Gym at the rec center works as an auditorium for them. It's not designed as an acoustic space, but the concert was fantastic and the room handled it quite well and was very heavily attended. So congratulations to all on a really great Livonia event. And then the announcement is we often wish happy birthdays to our spouses and kids, but I've got a special one for my parents. My parents are celebrating their 40th anniversary today, and so I'd be remiss if I did not give a public congratulations to my parents. And Mom and Dad, I love you very much. Thanks for being such a godly example to me.
Great. Happy anniversary. Okay, one last one. Glenn Moon was going to be here this evening, and he asked us, he gave us all a packet. He's going to be at the Senior Center Wednesday afternoons, and he'll be there June the 19th for the afternoon dance. So he asked me to convey that to everyone because he couldn't be here this evening. He did give us a nice packet. So there we have it, and if there's no other introductions or whatever, I'm going to go over to our department heads and introduce them. To my left is Todd Zelinsik. Todd is our city engineer and does a great job. Thank you, Todd, for all you do for us and our residents. And also to his right is Scott Miller. Scott's in for our city planning director, Mr. Taramina, this evening. Thank you for being here, Scott. Thank you for all the work you do for our city. And also, next to him is Judy Preby, our legislative director, who handles many balls in the air from 7 different people at all times. Thank you, Judy, so much. And over here to our right is Paul Bernier. Paul is our very capable city attorney that also does fine work for us. Thank you, Paul. And to his left is Susan Nash, who is our city clerk and does a great job with her staff as well. Out in the audience is our Mayor Dennis Wright. Thank you, Mayor, for all you do. And also you heard about the wonderful things that Linda Shield does, particularly with the ice cream social that we had at, I always call it the Bentley Center, but really is a Curtsey Center, but it's a great place and it was a great time. Thank you, Linda. And many other department heads that you'll be meeting here tonight that do a fine job for our city. Okay, with that, we do have an next item, council, at the end of this meeting. It's brought to us from our Livonia Police Department. And we do have 2 public hearings as well as new data on items 16, 17, 20, 23, and 24. Let me announce those public hearings. For the following item will be held on Monday, July 15th of this year at 7 p.m. in the auditorium of this Livonia City Hall, 33,000 Civic Center Drive, Livonia, Michigan, petition 2019-050103, submitted by A&H Ventures LLC to rezone property located on the southwest corner of 6 Mile and Farmington Roads, in the northeast quarter of Section 16 from C1, which is local business, to C2, which is general business. Again, that'll be July 15th here in the auditorium at 7 p.m. The next public hearing, council, is on Monday, July 15th at 7 p.m. here in the auditorium of the Livonia City Hall, 33,000 Civic Center Drive, Livonia, Michigan. Appeal of a denial of the Planning Commission regarding petition 2019-040207, submitted by Ocean Wellness LLC, requesting waiver use approval to operate a massage establishment located on the west side of Middlebelt Road between Puritan Avenue and 6 Mile in the northeast quarter of Section 14. Again, that's July 15th at 7 o'clock. Those of you that are interested in either one of those will all be here. Okay, we're going to go to audience communication. Anyone wishing to speak to the council on any matter that is not, I repeat, not on the green sheet for this evening, please approach the podium to my left or right. You have 2 minutes to address the council. Good evening. Madam Treasurer.
Good evening, Madam President and City Council members. I'm here this evening to notify all Livonia property owners that the summer tax bills will be issued on Monday, July 1st, and are due and payable without interest through Monday, September 16th. We do mail a tax bill to all residents, so some of you may receive an information-only copy. Please be sure to retain that for your records when you're filing your income tax returns. To assist our residents and business owners, we do accept partial payments that are accepted throughout this time period. So if it's easier for you to make biweekly or monthly payments from July 1st through September 16th, we do accept partial payments. Please note that tax bills are not forwarded. If you would like any additional information regarding your taxes, such as temporarily changing the mailing address for your tax bill, or having your summer tax bills automatically withdrawn, or to defer your summer taxes, please visit the Treasurer's Office page on the city website, or call the Treasurer's Office at 734-466-2242. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, council, anyone else from the audience wishing to speak? No? Okay. We'll move on to reports from the mayor and other city officials. We have a communication from the Department of Finance dated May 28th of this year, various financial statements for the city of Livonia for the month ending April 30th, 2019. Madam Clerk, if you'd receive and file those, please. Thank you very much. Okay, items 1 through 9 listed on the consent agenda will be voted on as one item. This does not mean that they are any less important than any other of the items on the green sheet. They have been deemed non-controversial in nature. Do I have a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, please.
I'd like to offer an approving resolution of the consent agenda.
Thank you. Council Vice President has made a motion of approval. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Councilwoman McIntyre. Okay. Anybody, any discussion? Anybody from the audience? If not, Madam Clerk, will you take the roll then?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. We're under unfinished business, item 10. This is a proposed amendment to the Livonia Code of Ordinances. This, I believe, is a first reading. Would someone like to give it first reading?
Madam President,
Yes, please.
I'll offer first reading at this point.
Thank you. You've heard first reading. They're asking as well for the emergency clause to be invoked for this proposed amendment. So we need to give it a second reading and a roll call vote. Would you like to do that, Council Vice
Madam
President?
President.
Please.
Point of order, I'll request the emergency clause be invoked. I believe we need to vote on that.
That's great. Okay. So Councilman Jolly has also offered second reading. Do we
I've al-
have some,
First emergency clause.
right, the emergency clause as well?
So we need to vote on that, Madam President?
Yes, we do, yeah. Okay. Is there any further comment from the council? Hearing and seeing no one, and anybody from the audience? Hearing and seeing no one from the audience, would the clerk then take the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, council, the ordinance will become effective.
Madam President?
Oh, no, now we got to vote for the second reading, sorry.
I'd like to also offer the second reading at this
Got it.
point.
Okay, thank you. And there's, anyone else wishing to speak on this? If not, we're going to show 7, right? Thank you. Showing 7 on the vote. On the
Madam
second
President?
reading.
Madam President?
Yeah.
It may be more practical to take a vote on that matter, just because it is an ordinance change.
You want it? Okay, let's take a vote then.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. The ordinance will become effective upon publication in the newspaper. Okay, thank you. Item 11 is a proposed amendment to the Livonia Code of Ordinances as amended. This also needs a first reading. Several of them do, council, so if you take a look at them, you'll see that. We have a lot of first readings.
Madam
Anyone?
Chair,
Yes, please.
I'll offer first reading
Okay,
and request that the emergency clause be invoked.
thank you. We have first reading with the emergency clause. Any comments from the audience or anyone else from the council? No? Go right ahead, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye. She did those together.
And Madam
Yeah.
Chair, I'll offer second reading.
Okay, and now we have second reading on that as well. Any comments from the council? Anybody from the audience? Hearing and seeing no one, would the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Item 12 is a proposed amendment to the Livonia Code of Ordinances as amended. This is a first reading as well.
Madam President,
Yes,
I'll offer the
Gordon.
first reading and ask that the emergency clause be invoked.
Great, okay. Council Vice President Jolly has made the motion on both of those. Was there discussion? Hearing no discussion, anyone from the audience? Hearing no one from the audience, would the clerk take the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Second reading?
I'll offer second reading at this point.
Council Vice President Jolly has offered second reading.
Madam President.
Yes, please, go right ahead.
Just for the audience's preview on this, why it's moving so quickly on these 3 items, while we're invoking emergency clauses. There's a July 1st deadline on this, and then to get it through to approval with the minutes passed, so we meet our deadline of July 1st is why we're moving this right now.
Correct, thank you. Okay, the vote on the second reading, right? Go right ahead, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye. Ordinance will become effective upon publication in the newspaper. We are on item 13, which is also a first reading. This is a proposed amendment to the Livonia Code of Ordinances as amended. Do I have a first reading?
Madam,
Chair.
Yes, go right ahead.
Actually, I think
Councilman
Councilwoman
Kritzman?
McIntyre had it first.
I would be,
Either way.
Whoever wants to go.
I'll
go ahead.
offer first reading on
Okay.
this item and ask that the emergency clause be invoked.
Thank you.
And,
Councilman Kritzman.
If I
Yes,
may, similar,
please.
I appreciate Councilman Meakin going into something of an explanation here. This sounds very repetitive to the folks in the audience and those watching at home. It's because these are components of the water and sewer billing rates. And so each one of these are taken separately. So it sounds like 5 of the same items. I mean, ultimately, what's happening here is some of these rates are being adjusted up, some of these rates are being adjusted down. And I think, very fortunately, we're in a position where, as a composite total, we're seeing a very, very small increase in the rates. Certainly something far less than we have in past years, and this is something that I'm looking forward to supporting this evening.
Thank you. Okay, could you take the vote on the first reading and then invoke the emergency clause?
Councilmember McIntyre.
aye.
Councilmember Meakin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Ordinance will become effective upon publication in the newspaper. Item 14 is also a first reading.
Madam President,
Oh, I got to vote on the second reading. We're fine. We're good.
we need to have it offered first.
I know we do.
Oh, I'll
And
offer
I'm
the
getting
second
to
reading.
it. I'm just, hold on, everyone. Okay, go ahead. Who's ever going to offer it? Yes,
Offered second reading.
that's what I thought. He made the first reading, so it's only logical he does the second reading. Okay, was there anyone from the audience wishing to speak to this? In hearing and seeing no one, go right ahead and take the vote. Madam
Councilmember
Clerk.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meakin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Ordinance will become effective upon publication in the newspaper. Item 14 is a proposed amendment to the Livonia Code of Ordinances. Once again, this is for the industrial waste surcharge. Councilwoman McIntyre.
I will offer first reading, and I will also offer the emergency, to invoke the emergency clause.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other comments from council? Anyone from the audience? Hearing and seeing no one, would the clerk please take the roll on that?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meakin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Would you like to do the second reading,
I
Councilwoman McIntyre?
would love to offer the second reading.
Thank you. Thank you. Just say please. Okay, yes, go right ahead. Anyone else? No? No? Anyone from the audience? Hearing and seeing no one, would the clerk take the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meakin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion will be, or ordinance will become effective upon publication in the newspaper. We're on item 15, which is again a first reading. This is a proposed amendment to the Livonia Code of Ordinances. Unlike the others, this is about fireworks. And so that we can amend Section 20 of Chapter 52 of Title 8 to bring our ordinance in line with Michigan Statute MCLA 28.457 regarding the ignition, discharge, and use of consumer fireworks within the city.
I'll offer first reading, Madam President.
Councilman Meakin has offered first reading. You have heard first reading. Is there any comments? Anybody from the audience on this one? Hearing and seeing no one, then we'll move on to item 16, which is a roll call vote. This is a proposed amendment to zoning ordinance number 543 as amended. This is brought to us from the Department of Law, and this is a petition by the Livonia Hotel Group to rezone property located on the west side of Victor Parkway between 7 Mile Road and Primbrook in the southwest quarter of Section 6 from C2, General Business, to C41, high-rise commercial, maximum 6 stories. First reading was given by Councilman Meakin. Councilman Meakin?
I'll be happy to offer second reading on this item.
Thank you, Councilman Meekin. We also was there support on that?
Support.
Supported by Councilman Barr. Before we take the vote, let's receive and file the June 11th letter from the Director of Finance. Madam Clerk, if you would. Okay.
And you have 16 and 17, the new data.
And 16 and 17 both have new data that came in late Friday night. I would like to remind people, anybody wishing to add data to the council agenda or to our meetings give me the hours again, Judy? Is it 48? 24, okay. They've lowered it since the last time I was on council. So anyhow, we've got 24 hours. We'd appreciate the timeliness with new data, so the council has time to read that. Alrighty, would the clerk take the roll on the second reading?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, ordinance will become effective upon publication in the newspaper. Number 17, council, is a site plan petition from our planning commission, and this is submitted by the Livonia Hotel Group again, located on the west side of Victor Parkway between 7 Mile and Primbrook Avenue, in the southeast quarter of Section 6. Do I have direction on this? On the
Madam
site
President,
plan? Yes, go right ahead, Vice President Jolly.
I will offer an approving resolution at this point for
Thank you.
purpose of debate.
Okay. It's been offered, supported by Councilman Meekin. We can receive and file that letter of June 3rd of this year, Madam Clerk, as well. Yes, go right ahead, Council McIntyre, did you?
Yeah, I had a
Okay, go right ahead.
comment. As I think many know, I had raised concerns at the last meeting about the parking situation, and I very much appreciate, and this is part of the new data that was received, the addressing the parking concerns in a very substantial way. And this mitigates my concerns because there's a plan here, so if parking is an issue, and I appreciate that the ratios that we always used of 1-to-1, perhaps it is time to change those because of changing transportation patterns, but it's still my experience in suburban hotels that a lot of people drive, but I appreciate the fact that there's a plan here and steps that will address any parking concerns, and the only thing that I would ask is that the hotel operators maybe monitor the situation and give us an update maybe 6 months after the hotel is open as to how the parking's working out, but I appreciate it, and this addresses my concerns satisfactorily.
Thank you, Madam Councilwoman. You don't see these notes oftentimes, but there is like 12 different things that we were all concerned about, or the Planning Commission was concerned about, that's in this approving. So, they go anywhere from the sod to, the hydro seeding that has to go on, the underground sprinklers. I mean, council and planning really goes through these, and Councilman Jolly has offered an approving, so we're well on our way for this new hotel that I think will be just a welcome addition into our city. Was there any other comments before we take a vote on that? Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. I did want to announce that it was, two of the companies that are going to be on this are going to be the Aloft and Element Hotels. These are Marriott brands, and traditionally, they've been in major cities throughout the country, and they're very exciting. They're high-end hotels that are going to benefit the city of Livonia. It's going to be an outstanding addition to the I-275 corridor. Thank you, Madam President.
Certainly, thank you. Anyone else? No? Anyone from the audience wishing to speak to this item? Hearing and seeing no one, would the clerk take the roll then on the approving, please?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Oh, yes. Item 18 is now an adoption of a resolution placing special assessments upon reference properties whose owners have not paid charges and taxes within the 2018 sidewalk program, contract 18-G, single lot assessment. This is brought to us from the Office of the Treasurer. Council, your pleasure.
Move approval, Madam President.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Councilman Meekin has offered an approving, Council Vice President Jolly has offered the support. Is there anyone from the audience wishing to speak to this matter? Hearing and seeing no one, would the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye. Item 19 is a request for authorization to purchase 2 Dell PowerEdge 4740 servers through the State of Michigan contracting pricing bid. And the officer, go right ahead. We're going to have you further.
Madam
I've
President,
spoken
I'll offer
enough.
the approving resolution.
Yeah, go right
Second.
ahead. Moved by Meekin, supported by Jolly, Vice President Jolly, yes.
Good evening, Madam President, council members. This is a request for 2 new Dell PowerEdge servers for the Livonia Police Department. They'll replace 2 of our current servers, which are out of warranty at end of life, and replacement parts are limited, no longer available. The equipment was approved through the State of Michigan contract pricing bid, and therefore requesting that you approve this purchase, waive the city's sealed bid process, and these funds will come from budgeted funds.
Great, thank you very much. You already have an approving on the floor. Was there any other conversation from the council? Anyone from the audience? Hearing and seeing no one, would the clerk take the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye. Motion passes. We're on 20, which also has new data on it. And so it's a request for authorization to sell city-owned property purchased through the Wayne County First Right of Refusal Tax Foreclosure Program. If we could receive and file the letter of June 12th as well, and do I have a motion?
Madam President,
Yes, please go
I'll
ahead.
offer Resolution A, which would approve the bid of Sauve Oro Construction LLC as it went through the process and was determined to be the high bidder in this matter.
Thank you.
Support.
Is there support? Supported by Councilman Barr. Was there discussion? Hearing and seeing no discussion from the council, anyone from the audience? Hearing and seeing no discussion from the audience, would the clerk take the
Madam
roll?
Chair?
Yes.
There
Oh.
appears to be a gentleman.
Oh, pardon me. Thank you, Councilman Kritzman. I didn't see you. Sir, if you'd like to approach the podium?
Yes.
You're on we're on item 20.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
your name and address, sir, for the.
My name is Larry Henney. I'm a resident of Dearborn Heights. I'm here representing Suave Homes. And the reason I'm here is because Mr. Suave has put in a bid for the property, and he has asked that his bid be accepted as opposed to anyone else's, since his was the best.
Madam President,
Yes, go right ahead.
if I may, sir, thank you for attending tonight. The motion that I made does do just what you have requested.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
further note for the record that we did have an individual who's in the audience here tonight as well, who requested that we take the second highest bidder, who I believe was the only other bidder in this matter. Although I can appreciate the sentiment and the well-intended desire of that individual to purchase and develop the property, and I understand that he has added some value to the community with a former property, we're not in the situation here of, for lack of a better way of putting it, being in the position to want to muck up a bid process. It is also being said that although the city of Livonia will not realize the additional proceeds from the high bid as opposed to the secondary bid, we sit here on this council as representatives directly of the citizens, the residents of the city of Livonia, Michigan, who are residents of Wayne County, Michigan as well. And Wayne County will reap the proceeds in addition that were offered by the high bidder in this matter. So that's just some justification for the process and why I offered it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Vice President. Were there any others? Anyone from the audience wishing to speak on this matter further? Hearing and seeing no one, could the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Item 21 is a waiver petition, Planning Commission. This is by My Mechanics Place for outdoor storage and rental U-Haul trucks located on the south side of Plymouth Road between Yale Avenue and Levan Roads in the northeast quarter of Section 32. And we can receive and file the May 31st letter and also the documents regarding the U-Haul neighborhood dealers. Do I have a motion?
Madam President?
Yes, please, go ahead.
I'm sorry, that you have to keep hearing my voice.
That's all right.
I will offer an approving resolution. I'll save any further comments.
Certainly, okay.
Support.
Moved by Vice President Jolly, supported by Councilwoman White. Further discussion, council, on item 21.
I'll just say the petitioner was before us at the study meeting, laid out that this was a need in the area and a supplement to what he is currently doing at the site, and it's a good justification for the property. Thank you.
I did those already. Yeah, I did them. I think I did them, yeah. Okay, anybody else from the council wishing to speak to that? Anyone from the audience wishing to speak to it? Hearing and seeing no one, yeah, we did them right there. Would the clerk take the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. We're on item 22, which is a request to establish a commercial rehab district on behalf of Schoolcraft Lodge LLC, or Inc., to facilitate the redevelopment of property located at 31501 Schoolcraft Road in the northeast quarter of Section 27. The public hearing was held on May 22nd. Council, your pleasure.
Madam President,
Yes.
I'll offer the approving resolution.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Meekin, supported by Councilwoman McIntyre.
Madam
Yes,
President.
go right ahead.
What we're doing with this vote is to approve the commercial rehabilitation district. It does not move the project further at this point. We will have an opportunity to go through site plan approval at that time. So there is plenty of opportunities to discuss concerns with this property as we move forward.
Thank you, Councilman Meekin. Any other discussion from the council? Anyone from the audience? Hearing and seeing no one, would the clerk take the roll on the approving?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
No. We are under new business. Item 23 is a proposed amendment to the Livonia Code of Ordinances as amended. Department of Law to add Chapter 6, Small Cell Wireless Facilities Deployed to Title 12 to bring our ordinance in line with the Small Wireless Communications Facility Deployment Act. There are two received in file on this of June 13th and the other letter of May 24th from Susan Yarborough and the other one as well. This is a first reading. Would someone like to give this first reading?
I will offer first reading. Madam
Thank you,
President.
Councilwoman McIntyre. She has offered first reading. Was there further discussion?
Madam President?
Yes, please, go ahead,
Just a
Councilman Barr.
comment, because I can anticipate what some of the comments are we might hear on this, and we've heard them in the past, and I'm frankly sympathetic to a lot of those comments. But I think it's important for people to understand that when we're talking about this 5G stuff, it's really been taken out of local municipalities' hands. This is something that at a state and to some extent even a federal level, we don't have a choice as to whether this comes into our community. So concerns that people have, as legitimate as those may be, really need to be addressed to their state representatives, state senators, and at that level. Because while we may even be sympathetic to those things here, we're really powerless at this point to do anything about it. So I just want to make that statement prior to anything else we might hear. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else from the council before I go to? No? Go right ahead, ma'am. Your name and address for the record, if you would,
My
please.
name is Diane Schley, and 48581 Belleville Road in Belleville. And I'm here tonight to tell you that 20 of us marched against 5G on May 15th in front of the Coleman Young Building just this last month. And 7/8 of the people did not know anything about 5G. Didn't even know what it was. Didn't basically know what 4G was. And also, Scott Baer was right when he said that we have no power to stop this. The Telecommunications Act of 1996 took total control of all communities against such things such as the telecommunications, anything that they want to do. And the FCC is not at all doing what they're supposed to do, to regulate and make things safe for people. They're going against that. Now, the whole thing is that 5G is at 24 to 100 gigahertz that they will use, and the 4G is now 2.24 gigahertz. And Wi-Fi is 2.24 gigahertz, so it becomes 60 gigahertz. And this is all going to be very harmful for the oxygen to go into the cells of our body. And if you think it's bad enough getting cancer from the 4G towers, this is going to be a whole lot worse, a whole lot worse. And then on top of that, the retinas of the eyes are going to also be harmed. So many people would be having to go ahead and have terrible repercussions from their eyes. So if anybody can understand how harmful that this is going to be, and I want to read for you right here. Harmful effects of RF EMF exposure are already proven.
Excuse
More
me.
than-
You have 2 minutes to present. You're at that 2 minutes.
Okay, well, just
If I may,
230
Miss, if I may ask you, if you could submit that letter to us, that would be very, very helpful.
Okay,
Okay, but we have to allow for our time for our other meeting and others.
okay.
Okay, and
But-
your subject matter really belongs in the Public Service Commission of the State of Michigan.
Okay.
And that's been said to many, and we appreciate your comments, but,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Well, I hope everybody understands how bad
Thank
this
you very
is.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, anyone else wishing to speak to this? Your name and address for the record, please.
Suzanne Yarborough, 33428 Richland Street, Livonia, Michigan. I disagree with the MPSC portion of your statement, Ms. Toy. If you look at the Constitution, Article 4, Section 51, public health and general welfare of the people are supposed to be matters of primary public concern. And that includes the city of Livonia. It just doesn't say fall in line with illegal laws that were passed by the Michigan legislature or the FCC. Okay, I'm handing copies of lawsuits against the FCC on 5G.
Okay.
What you need to know about 5G and small cells, it's not small. And Dr. Martin Paul, PhD, over 2,000 studies, this all is very damaging to health. Here's a good one. The child that was at the school that had the small cell cancer clusters. And also, I would like to have a proposed edit to your section on small cell facility rules. Here's a copy of this for you. And I had signed, and these are a lot of Livonia residents that signed, we do not want 5G. I don't want it near my house. I don't want it in my city. If anyone looked at the health damages, you might vote no or file the lawsuit, as over 2 dozen cities and counties have filed lawsuit against the FCC on 5G. It's time that you cared about the public health and not just fall in line like everyone else. I'm tired of radiation. I'm tired of being microwaved. And, you know, you gave more than 2 minutes to the police dog over there. You give all kinds of time, and I'm just...
He was under audience communication, ma'am, and everything, so we
Okay.
would welcome your information.
Yeah, I'll
Thank
give
you.
it to Todd, what you need to know about 5G.
Well, it actually goes to the clerk, but you can give it to
Clerk,
Mrs.
okay.
Prevey, and we'll be happy to look at it. Yes, go ahead.
Madam
Councilman, yes.
Oh.
Vice President, no, you're fine.
I would like...
No, Ms. Sharber, just a second.
just-
He has the floor for 1 minute. Just
Oh,
hold
sorry.
on. She
I'm
wanted to make
sorry.
a comment.
Thank you, ma'am. You know, I'd like to thank the ladies for coming out tonight and sharing this with us. You know, there's a lot of unknowns, really, in regards to a lot of this stuff.
There's no study about it.
With all due respect, ma'am, your
Sorry.
time's up. There's a lot of unknowns with all of this, and I think, if nothing else, our residents and the people of Livonia and the people watching should be apprised that these things, 5G is out there. This is a technology that's going to become more and more readily utilized, whether you like it or not, with driverless vehicles and different technology. So if you are interested in this, like my colleagues previously mentioned, you really need to take this up with your state and federal
No, it isn't.
regulators and
Livonia can
officials.
file a lawsuit.
You are out of order. Sorry, but you've
Thank
got to
you.
let the gentleman speak.
That's all I was going to say. People who are interested in this,
Well, I would
no matter
like,
what
Okay,
we,
thank you.
no matter what we believe or what we know, we're not the appropriate body to study this or get answers. The state and the federal governments are. Thank you.
Madam President.
Thank you. Yes, go right ahead, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman Jolly. And one more thing I want to add to what I said earlier is, again, setting aside for a minute whether this is the right thing for the state and for our community, which, as has been said by both Councilman Jolly and I, is really outside of our control. And the state representatives are accountable to you, to the residents, just like we are. And that's the avenue to go. But in addition to that, what this is doing, it's not just a matter of compliance. Frankly, what it's doing is doing what we can do within our control to regulate where these receivers go within the state law. Without this, we have, right now the state is dictating it. As I understand from a conversation with our city attorney earlier today, we are doing what we can to the extent we're allowed to get some control over this within that law. Again, issues with the law, to which I am sympathetic. This is not the body to do it, but to the extent that we can control it, what we're doing tonight does that.
I disagree with that.
Mr. Berger, would you like to make comment on where we're at on this whole
No,
thing?
absolutely. We,
Yes, thank you.
as council members have pointed out, we are powerless. And what little power we have, we're trying to control where the items are placed, how they're permitted, everything that goes with it. We have limited powers, but we're trying to exercise as much as we can in this. But we are pretty much powerless. The state and the feds have taken that away from us.
So hopefully you'll give us this information and we can read it, Mrs. Yarborough.
Lawsuits from cities and counties
Okay.
that do not want 5G.
We appreciate it. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
And if you want, Judy will make copies of it, or Mrs. Prevey right here.
Okay,
So-
here's-
Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
Okay, council, where were we? We had a first reading on that. Oh, pardon me, I'm sorry, come on up, sure. Your name and address, please.
Nancy Abney, 36616 Plymouth, Livonia.
Thank you.
So I have the same topic. I just wanted to make people apprised of this very thing. It's an excerpt out of the nation.com article. It's just a little over 2 minutes, if you'll indulge me. I appreciate
It's
it.
got to be around 2 minutes, please.
It is.
Thank you so much.
So it's titled "The Disinformation Campaign and Massive Radiation Increase Behind the 5G Rollout." The Internet of Things will require augmenting today's 4G technology with 5G, thus massively increasing the general population's exposure to radiation. According to a petition signed by 236 scientists worldwide, who have published more than 2,000 peer-reviewed studies and represent a significant portion of the credentialed scientists in the radiation research field. According to Joel Moskovich, the director of the Center for Family and Community Health at the University of California, Berkeley, nevertheless, like cell phones, 5G technology is on the verge of being introduced without pre-market safety testing. I think that's critical for people to know. Lack of definitive proof that a technology is harmful does not mean the technology is safe. Yet the wireless industry has succeeded in selling this fallacy to the world. The wireless industry has obstructed a full understanding of the current science, aided by government agencies that have prioritized commercial interest over human health, and news organizations that have failed to inform the public about what the scientific community really thinks. So the damages include blood-brain barrier, the body's vital defense mechanism shielding the brain from carcinogenic chemicals elsewhere in the body. It interferes with DNA replication. It's a proven instigator of cancer. This is really difficult information, but critical information, I would think. The FCC has granted the wireless industry's wishes so often that it qualifies as a captured agency, argued journalist Norm Ulster in a report that Harvard University's Edmund J. Safra Center for Ethics published in 2015. The wireless industry controls the FCC through a soup-to-nuts stranglehold that extends from its well-placed campaign spending in Congress through its control of the FCC's congressional oversight committees to its persistent agency lobbying, Ulster wrote.
Thank you.
Can I just finish?
Thank you. I'm sorry, if I stretch it for one person, I gotta do it for all of them, and so, thank you very much. If you wanna submit more of the information, it goes to
I
Judy
will submit
Prevey,
the
our
whole
clerk.
article for you guys
We
to
appreciate it,
read.
thank you.
And people should know how this will be applied all over their neighborhood.
Thank you very much. Was there someone else? Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Ron Yarborough, 33428 Richland in Livonia. Mr. Frank Clegg, former CEO of Microsoft Canada, states he's now an advocate for safe technology, the Environmental Health Trust. But the potential harm is as it's used today. China, Russia, and Italy have safety standards 100 times safer than the United States. The wired systems are 100 times faster than Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi uses more energy than the wired systems. The bill would allow, this is Bill 637, which already passed, would allow unchecked rollout of the technology. The body acts like an antenna for 5G. Your sweat ducts actually become antenna for the it's called the Internet of Things. So we're all going to become part of the internet through your sweat ducts in your body. The industry has lost trust, and the wire system is cheaper and stays okay. It stays longer in the kids' brains. The Wi-Fi does. 70% of the brain is penetrated. And he states that it's 100% causation, cancer causation factor. Okay, now the FCC states that the wireless radiation from cell phones, AMI meters, laptops, cell towers, etc., is not harmful because it does not have a thermal effect on the skin. The 5G or fifth generation millimeter waves can penetrate the skin 1/64th of an inch and have a thermal effect. So according to FCC guidelines, 5G millimeter waves are harmful to the human body. Since the millimeter waves can only travel a short distance and cannot penetrate solid objects, a massive rollout of small cell antennas is required.
Mr. Yarber?
That it?
Yes, sir, you're at, yeah. That.
Okay.
Hey, can I ask you a question? Have
Sure,
you ever
yeah.
gone up to the Public Service Commission in the state or contacted your state representative?
Yeah, we've done all that.
You've done all that?
yeah, we do.
Okay, all
I
right.
do have some two-page
Yeah.
information, if anybody
Yes,
wants
sir.
it.
Maybe, maybe some of us can call them too, so that,
Yeah.
they understand where you're coming from, if
give
that's
it all of them.
helpful to you. I know you've been here several times, when I was on
Yeah,
council
on
last
the
time.
AMI smart meters now, this
Yes,
is the
yeah,
next.
the smart meters
well,
and
actually,
stuff.
it's the fifth generation.
Okay, why don't we try that too, and, we again appreciate the information.
Okay, here's the two
Yes.
pages, it's real easy to read.
Thank you.
One of them's on the FCC and the other's on the scientists.
Thank you
findings.
so much. And Councilman,
Thank you.
Vice President Jolly.
Madam President, what I would just
Yeah.
say for those in the audience interested in this as well, we have State Representative Jewel Jones as staff member here in the audience who has been taking vigorous notes as you've been speaking. So I'm sure that he will relay this to the representative as
Is that
well.
Julian Jones?
Jewel.
Jewel.
Jones.
He's a state rep.
He's been taking notes here, so I,
I've called your office before, yeah.
Communications and Technology Committee's telephone.
Is he on that?
You,
Jewel on
like
that?
Garden City?
Garden City, Inkster.
Yeah, okay, I'll call your office.
Okay.
I got a
Little piece of
resident
Livonia there, yeah.
there. Okay, thank you.
Is he on Technology Committee?
No, not any longer.
Not any longer? Okay.
Golden is.
Oh, Coleman, okay, good,
Quite frankly, is.
good. See, it was good you were here tonight. All right. Real good. Okay, so where are we at? We had a first reading on 23, is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone else on the council or anybody? No? Okay. We'll move on to 24 then. It's a proposed amendment to the Livonia Code of Ordinances as amended to rename Chapter 05, subject to Metropolitan Extension Telecommunications Right-of-Way Oversight Metro Act to Title 12 to bring our ordinance in line with the Small Wires Communications. Receive and file the letter of June the 13th, Madam Clerk, thank you, and also the one from May 24th of this year. I need a first reading.
Madam Chair?
Yes, go
This
right
looks
ahead.
to be a housekeeping item, and I'll be happy to offer first reading.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman White, you've heard first reading. Is there anyone else? Anyone from the audience? Hearing and seeing no one, we're on item 25, council. Okay,
I did want to add something.
sure, go right ahead.
The MPSC is not really constitutional. We don't vote those people in. They're former CEOs of DTE or consumers. The FCC is not constitutional either. They're not voted in by the people. And I went to the 5G hearings in Lansing. I looked at everyone who opposed 5G. There was over 100 and something people that opposed 5G. And guess who was for 5G? Verizon and AT&T and all the companies that are gonna profit for it. So tell me that, you know, we have a constitution. I have a right to be safe in my own home and my city, and I do not feel safe anymore from all the radiation.
Madam President,
So,
point of order, we are getting off track here. I believe audience communication is closed on this.
It's not audience communication.
She's under 24.
Oh,
Yeah, she's in order. She's in order.
okay.
That's
I
okay,
had,
thank
I
you.
mean,
Go ahead, you have a few more
I
minutes,
mean,
I think.
that's what I
Councilman
had
Meekin.
to add,
That's okay.
because
Yeah,
those
thanks, Joe.
agencies that you're quoting are not constitutional, and the local is our last hope of staying safe, and Livonia could sue the FCC or the state of Michigan for that unlawful law where nobody wanted it, but it was passed anyways because of all the telecom dollars that come everyone's way. Well, thank you very much. Try to work for the public health and not, I don't give a damn about being in line with small cell law or, you know, these new laws. I don't. Try working for the public health. That's what you're there for. The Constitution came before all these laws came in. Thank you.
Appreciate your advice, thank you very much. Let's see, where were we? Okay, we were going on to 25, I believe, correct? Okay, item 25 is an acceptance of a grant easement. This is brought to us from the Department of Law. Do we have a motion on this?
Madam President,
Yes, please go ahead.
I would like to offer the approving resolution, and always happy to see the words "without monetary consideration." Well done, Department of Law.
Very good point.
Brian's line.
Great, supported by Councilman Meekin. Alrighty, was there further discussion on that item on 25, council? If not, the audience, anyone in the audience on 25? Hearing and seeing no one, Madam Clerk, will you take the roll, please?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules for the X item?
So moved.
Moved by Councilwoman McIntyre, supported by Council Vice President Jolly. Was there, could the clerk take the roll, sorry?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. This is brought to us from the Chief of Police, and I'm going to let him explain it. Chief Kate.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, members of council, for allowing this item to appear before you at today's meeting. This is simply a request. We are in an agreement with Axon Taser for our body-worn cameras that is about 2.5 years into it. As you may recall, I appeared before you requesting your authorization, which was approved to utilize Axon to provide our in-car solution, our in-car recording solution, as our current vendor is, quite frankly, out of business. This request is just for your authorization to extend our existing agreement with Axon on the body-worn camera so that it mirrors the expiration of the in-car solution. We feel that'll put us in a better position when it comes to negotiating with them in the future or another vendor to provide these services. If we have both agreements expiring at the same time, it'll give us more leverage to deal with that. In addition, Axon has agreed to extend our current pricing for those 2 additional years, which if the current bid that they would make for the same program would save us overall $83,000 going forward. So again, I appreciate your consideration with this item to extend that contract by 2 years.
Madam President.
Yes,
move
please.
approval.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Meekin, supported by Councilwoman White. Was there further discussion from the council? Council Vice President Jowell.
question. Chief, my only question is, why did this have to be an X item?
Quite frankly, this had been submitted in a timely fashion, and I don't know where it got laid up, but we were trying to, I initially wanted this to be hand in glove with the in-car presentation, so it would flow better than this, and I requested through the council office for it to be an X item just to expedite the situation so we could get it behind us with the other contract with the in-car solution.
Okay, and I can appreciate that. I just, looking at this, I didn't see anything that jumped out in terms of being a pressing time nature, so I appreciate the explanation. Thank you.
Ready?
Madam Chair?
Yes, please, go right
I
ahead.
just want to convey to the police department that I'm happy to see the forward thinking here to get these 2 contracts on the same time frame so that you will have negotiating power down the line. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Chief. Anybody from the audience? Hearing and seeing no one, would the clerk please take the roll on the X item?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. Council, we're at, again, audience communication. Anyone wishing to speak to the council on anything that wasn't on the green sheet for this evening or our normal, regular agenda, please move to the podium to my left or right and give us your name and address for the record. Hearing and seeing no one, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Move. Yes. Go
I'm
right
sorry,
ahead.
you didn't see me.
It's all
Before
right.
we adjourn, on the topic of the ice cream social, one additional thanks needs to go out, and that's, and certainly, Scott's right, Linda is the motivating force behind this, gets everyone together. Judy Preby, this wouldn't happen. The ice cream would not be served if it weren't for Judy Preby, who gets over there very early in the day and helps all of us have everything in order. And she got over there very early and was scooping ice cream all afternoon, all evening. So a special thanks goes to Judy as well.
Yeah, thank you, Judy. If Linda wouldn't freeze it that hard, you wouldn't have that problem. Anyhow, I'm just joking. Okay. Thank you, Madam McIntyre, very much in order. Could the clerk, we have an adjournment, could you take the roll?
Made the motion.
I'll move
Yeah.
adjournment.
Yeah, it's been moved and supported. Yep.
Who supported?
I moved, we need to support.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'll
they all
support.
support it, quite
I'll
frankly.
support.
Anything to get this over with.
Yes. Yes. Okay, could you take the roll?
Councilmember McIntyre.
Aye.
Councilmember Meekin.
Aye.
Vice President Jolly.
Aye.
Councilmember Kritzman.
Aye.
Councilmember Barr.
Aye.
Councilmember White.
Aye.
President Toy.
Aye, motion passes. We'll be back at 8:20. Council, 10 minutes, please.